Hey all, back with Song of the Week number 6, Verborgenheit by Hugo Wolf. Recordings I listened to this week were by Dietrich Fischer-Dieskau and Hermann Prey. Again, my go-tos for German. Also, the book I have is for lead and low voice, so that is probably why most of these German songs I'm performing have recordings by the two. Now, side by sides. This song isn't strophic and it doesn't have as many repeated words as a lot of the previous songs did, so the text for this one is going to be a bit longer. Lass, o Welt, o lass mich sein, locket nicht mit Liebesgaben, lasst dies Herz alleine haben, seine Wonne, seine Pein. Was ich traure, weiß ich nicht, es ist Unbekanntes Wehen, immer durch Tränen sehen, ich der Sonne liebes Licht, oft bin ich mir kaum bewusst und die helle Freude sücket durch die schwerer so mich drücket, wonniglich in meiner Brust. Lass, o Welt, o lass mich sein, locket nicht mit Liebesgaben, lasst dies Herz alleine haben, seine Wonne, seine Pein. Leave me, O world, O leave me be, do not tempt me with trifles of love. Let this heart have all to itself, its bliss, its anguish. For what am I mourning? I know not. It is unfamiliar woe. Evermore through tears I see the dear light of the sun. Often I am hardly aware of myself, and bright joy flashes like lightning through the weight that is pressing upon me blissfully within my breast. Leave, O world, O leave me be. Do not tempt me with trifles of love. Let this heart have all to itself, its bliss, its anguish. Hugo Wolf was born in 1860 and spent most of his life in Vienna. He was influenced heavily by Wagner and also looked up to Liszt, Schubert, and Chopin. His music was characterized by a deep expressiveness and intensity, as well as a break from the norms of the day. Wagner is famous for the way he changed the perception of music by the people around him and of his time, and Wolf followed in his footsteps. Wolf often was frustrated by the musical conservatism of the institutions of the day, and his music is somewhat out there for the time. His life was marred by depression and mental illness, so this is probably why his music is so intense. We have a ton of musical markings in German. The tempo marking is mäßig und sehr innig, which roughly translates to at moderate speed and very sincere/heartfelt. Another tempo marking which we have is the beginning of the second section, and it's Nacht und Nacht belebter und leidenschaftlicher, meaning with increasing animation and passion. Besides that, we have an odd tempo and a tempo 1, but tempo 1 is essentially just a tempo. The one thing I'm worried about phrasing-wise in this piece is that it's so slow. So making sure that I budget breath appropriately and making sure I have alternative plans if I have to bail in the middle of a phrase is going to be super important. For count singing, I usually start at the beginning, but I think I'm going to start where the rhythm gets weird. There's a part where you have an eighth rest at the start of the measure and then some weird syncopation, so that's where I'm going to start. Syncopation is when you accent off the beat, so regular rhythm would just be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So that's normal, and compared to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's sort of like syncopation. And that's sort of what we have in the piece. And it makes it kind of unintuitive to sing. So that's why I want to focus my count singing practice. 1, 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... The piano isn't crazy. The left hand has some dotted quarters into eighth note patterns for most of the piece, and then the rest of it mostly is straight eighths. The first syncopated entrance is going to be kind of frustrating though, because there isn't anything to cue me in, so I'm just going to have to make sure that I either count or just... Yeah, I'm just going to have to count. You should always be counting, but counting is going to be really important now. I think for this week, I want to go back to one solid vowel for melody on the vowel. This song is supposed to be super legato, and a single vowel, at least for me, is more conducive to the effective practice of that. So I'm probably going to try the German vowel Ü, which is U with an umlaut. On to IPA. One of the unique things about German is the use of ich, ach, and och sounds. Italian for sure does not have these, and it doesn't seem like French has this stuff either. Another hard thing about German is umlauted vowels such as e, and ü. The song has a couple of ü's. I'm terrible at these, so that's going to be one of the things I'm going to try to focus on. Verborgenheit translates to seclusion, and this is the main theme of the song. Knowing that Wolf suffered on and off from depression gives a lot of context into this piece. It's a song about just wanting life to leave you alone, and just wanting to give up on people. But there are times when that's what people do. They give up on work, they give up on school, they give up on people, and they give up on life even. There are times when you just are sad, but you don't know why. This is a really frightening place to be in. But what is even more frightening is that it isn't that uncommon. Around 7% of all US adults have had at least one major depressive episode, and the number is around 13% for adults 18 to 25, according to the National Institute of Mental Health. I'm sure if you surveyed artists and musicians, that number would be way higher too. But despite this, it feels like the song has some hope. Evermore, through tears I see the dear light of the sun, and bright joy flashes like lightning through the weight that is pressing upon me blissfully within my breast. I guess this is what draws people to music in the first place. I know this is what draws me to music, because music for me is an outlet for all of my emotions, positive or negative. I know this is a somewhat heavy topic, but music encompasses all of human emotions, and this type is no exception. This isn't the first song to talk about this sort of subject matter, and it sure won't be the last. Now, for speak singing. I feel like I say this every week, but speak singing serves the double function of solidifying diction and checking if a phrase is doable. I know a lot of the phrases in here are pretty long. I say that, they're only 2 measures, but the song is really slow. So we'll see how this works for our phrasing. Lass, o Welt, o lass mich sein, lochet nicht mich Liebesgaben. Finally, we have melody plus text and memorization. I'm going to start giving a performance goal for each week. This week is going to be to focus on utilizing good, supported, quiet singing, as well as utilizing good breath management. Here is Verborgenheit. Lass, o Welt, o lass mich sein, locket nicht mit Liebesgaben, lass die Herz alleine haben, seine Wonne, seine Pein. Was ich traure, weiß ich nicht. Es ist uns bekanntes Wir, immer durch Tränen sehe ich der Sonne Liebeslicht. Oft bin ich mir kaum bewusst und die helle Freude sucht durch die Schwere, so mich drücket, wann ich lieg in meine Brust. Lass, o Welt, o lass mich sein, locket nicht mit Liebesgaben, lass dies Herz alleine haben, seine Wonne, seine Pein. This was a pretty cool song. I think one of the aspects of my toolkit that I lack is the ability to consistently sing at a low volume while maintaining resonance. So this was a good challenge. It also challenged my ability to budget my breath throughout phrases. I think a lot of times I spend air on consonants early in the phrase that I don't need as much air on, and as a result, I don't have enough air to finish phrases. There are multiple phrases that I originally had marked that I had to split in half because I just couldn't get through them. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next week.